All right, the ASUS ROG Strix with laptop with the Intel i9 processor. Is it right for you or isn't it? We'll find out.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. DJ Samo.
All right, now I'm a DJ on the side here a little bit, and every 4 to 5 years I get a new laptop for DJing. I've always been a fan of the ASUS brand gaming laptops. They've always held up for me. Other laptops I've tried before, the gaming laptops, they've lasted maybe 3 to 4 months. I was constantly in exchanging them and returning them for a different laptop. They just didn't hold up to the vibrations, being on for 4 plus hours at a time. They always constantly overheated. So I went with the gaming laptops, and the first one I bought was an Asus, and I'm kind of stuck with that brand ever since. They've always performed well for me. My first one, I just still works. I gave it to a friend of mine. He's going to do a little refurbishing on it, and he's going to give it to a gal so she can use it for her schoolwork. Now, my second one, the one I got now, that's going to become my backup, and it was starting to have a few issues. That's about 4 or 5 years old now, and I've had to replace the hard drive in it, and the power supply, I've had to find a different one for it because the other one wasn't working. Well, it wasn't charging the battery really at all anymore, so now with decided to get a new one because with the stuff going around in the world and restrictions are lifting on people to be able to do stuff, I thought, well, time to do a little upgrade and get a new laptop. So I just was looking around, and I wanted to go with the AMD processor, but I can see when I see that was about so you could see that was about 8 to 9 months away before you could even get a hold of one because of silicon shortages for the computer chips and shipping constraints with logistics and stuff coming in and out of China and stuff like that. So I found this Asus ROG Strix 17-inch on Newegg here. It was an open box model. And from turning it on and using it right away, I can see why the person returned it and why it was an open box. Because if you bought this for the intended use of gaming, you're going to be very disappointed with how it performed out of the box. I found out why it wasn't performing that good, but right out of the box, I turned the power on, loaded it up, it did its thing. I was trying to move stuff around and transfer my music from my old computer onto the new one here. And it just kept dragging and take forever for Windows to load or open up or close if I wanted to. Even a file explorer, it'd hang on opening that up. Some of the programs I'd use, it'd hang up on opening those programs and closing them. I was like, well, this is an i9 processor. This should be blazing fast. What's going on? It's hanging up doing this stuff. You're just opening a simple file explorer window. Taking forever to do that. I can see why it was an open box. So, but, I figured, I'm kind of computer savvy a little bit, figure it out, see what's going on. And one of the other things I was noticing is the mouse was the touchpad on there was kind of inconsistent touching it. Pop it up here, and I'd go to touch the mouse pad here, and sometimes it wouldn't recognize my finger at all when I touched it. Other times it was hypersensitive, and I go to touch it, it registers a double or triple click. And all of a sudden open up something I didn't want open or doing stuff I didn't want it to do. So, if you're going to use it for gaming, I'd probably stay away. And I found out after fiddling with it a little bit, I found out why. And I'll tell you how I found this out here. When I got all my files and everything on there, I went to hook it up to my DJ controller. If you guys aren't familiar with the DJ controller, plug it into your laptop and the music and stuff runs through there. You can manipulate how the music sounds through the DJ controller. And what I was having happen is I was having a DJ controller that was actually hanging up. I'd go hit the play button on a DJ controller to start a track going, and it wouldn't do anything at all. I found out that ASUS has this armory crate in there, and it's got a whole bunch of stuff. It's got a lighting controller in there for the LED lights. It can control your fan speeds, and a whole bunch of other stuff. For help you get better performance in gaming, and have cool light effects on there. I was messing around with that too. Had a thing set on there for music, so I figured it'd be kind of cool if the LEDs could strobe to the music. But what I found out is that the drivers and for the LED light sync or whatever that armory crate were interfering with the USB port. This is something I haven't seen in about 20 some years for doing with the computers. Back in the old day of computers, there used to be things called show a picture of it here, jumpers. Kind of like back here in the pitch, yeah, right there. Things like jumpers are things called dip switches. Like these here, and you'd have to adjust those manually to get stuff to work on your computer. I haven't had to mess with those things since Windows 95. And trust me, you don't have to mess with those things anymore either. It's all software based and driver stuff now. So, what I found out was that the drivers for that armory crate that were controlling the little box in there that controls the lights and with the fan speeds and stuff like that was actually interfering with the USB port on there. So it was actually taking up probably way too much bandwidth on there. I actually had to uninstall their whole armory crate and just rely on settings in the basic BIOS of the computer when it starts up for fan curves and stuff like that, which is perfectly fine because all I'm going to be using it for is DJing. That's fine with me. But now if you're a serious gamer, on the other hand, that's going to annoy you, and you're going to probably, like this guy, the guy who had it before me, return it to Newegg and say it wasn't working right, it was slow, it was garbage, So, me personally, on this laptop, if you're going to game on it, I strongly recommend going with a different laptop. ASUS, armory crate and everything they got in there built in. That has a lot of driver issues yet. They got a lot of work to do on it to iron it out. Maybe on new models they'll have it fixed. I don't think they can actually do too much with the drivers on this anymore. I just think it's most likely what they call bloatware, and it just slows your laptop down way too much. But once I uninstalled that stuff, and I think ASUS knew that they had an issue with it, because if you go to their website, they actually have a uninstall tool which will go through and remove every part of that armory crate for you. So obviously I think they knew about that issue, and that's why they got that uninstall tool. But after I took that all off, the laptop was about 20 times faster, blazing like you'd expect the i9 processor to perform with the 32 gigs of RAM in it. Now, the other thing, that was one of the main issues I had with it. The other issue I got with this laptop is it's a minor issue. I can live with it. It's the fact that it uses what's called a RAID 0 setup, which basically means it's got two 1 terabyte hard drives in it. And basically it tells the computer to see one hard drive instead of two. And it spreads the data across both hard drives. Now, for me, from a reliability standpoint, that's just more stuff to break. I'd rather not have it. I'd just rather have them put in a regular 2 terabyte hard drive and call it good. But this was aimed for gamers, and supposedly they can get a couple extra frames per second by doing it this way, by having the RAID 0 set up. So if you're a competitive gamer, maybe that extra 2 to 3 frames per second you get from that might make the difference in losing or winning the game. I don't know. I'm not a professional gamer. I just use it. For me, the laptop's great for DJing. So, should you get this laptop? Depends on what you're going to use it for. If you're going to use it for gaming, competitive gaming, stay away. It's got all that bloatware on there and stuff. You'd have to take that off. And if you're a competitive gamer and you like all the LED lights and RGB on there, you're not going to be impressed by having to take that off because you're going to pay extra for that. You're paying extra for it and you really can't use it. That's another downside. So, but if you're going to be using it for like DJing like I am, or other applications where you don't need all the frames per second and all that stuff, yeah, it's a good laptop for that once you take that armory crate off. So, in summary, gamers, don't buy it. Wait for the AMD one to come out if you can. As chances are, unless your laptop's dying right now, maybe check out one of the other brands that might be a little bit better. But this one, stay away. All right, thanks again. This is Minnesota's Samo, DJ Samo, signing out.